I wish someone had made this video when I was doing my master's on how to search a database for your literature review. This is a very important section of literature review, no doubt. I mean, I bet you if you have a good introduction, you've written your method, even written it very well, and then it's time to implement that method. That implementation of the method is what defines the entire literature review, which means how do you search those databases? What keywords would you be using? It is absolutely necessary and important. So pay very close attention to this particular video, and that's because within this video I'll also be creating a demo on how to use PubMed, how to use CINAHL, and how to search on Scopus as well. So 3 databases I'll be demoing for you. I'm nice like that. I hope you've liked and you've subscribed, by the way. What's the essence of searching your database? I just covered that. I'm not going to rant about that so much, but know that if you don't search your database well, then your output would not be reliable and it won't be valid as well. And the whole essence of conducting that search is such that whoever is marking can also go back, run the same search with the keywords that you said you've used, and then be able to get the exact same thing. That's what reliability is. So they'll be able to get the exact same thing that you have gotten, which is the exact same number of articles, except new articles comes out before they run the search, but that's almost impossible. So they will be able to run that search and get the exact same thing. So it shows how reliable your study is, right? Now, you might want to ask, where do I get these keywords from? That's a very valid question. And I think there's a shortcut and a very easy way to this. Like I always say, nothing is new. Nothing within literature review academia is new. Someone has done it before. So if someone has done it before, that means someone has used those keywords that you want to use. Someone has used them before. So look for articles that are within that covers the topic you want to carry out. Articles that you have included in your introduction. That means those studies that have conducted previous literature reviews. Bring out those studies. What keywords did they use? Now, don't just use one single study. It's important to use more than one, at least in my opinion. Take about 4 studies. Now, look at the keywords that they have used. Get your own keywords from there that are aligned perfectly with what your research question is. Now that you know what your keywords are, the next thing you want to do is to run your search using the Boolean operators that you have stated that you'll be using, right? Now, so we will start with CINAHL. What does that look like? So this is what CINAHL looks like. I know it shows as EBSCOhost, but some of these databases are linked. Say, for example, the articles you would see in PubMed, you would also see them under CINAHL, and you also see them with EBSCO. So it's like some databases are sort of linked. So I would like you to bear that in mind. So this is CINAHL, but it also serves as EBSCOhost as well. But it's the same. I mean, this is what it brings out. So you can choose the databases that you want to include. This is what I meant, right? You've got Medline here. You've got APA PsycInfo. You've got CINAHL Ultimate, right? So you can take that if you want. You've got CINAHL Ultimate, you've got library info, blah blah blah, you've got business sources. So you've got all of that databases being searched at the same time on EBSCOhost. So what this means for you is that you do not need to now go ahead and search Medline again, say for example, because you've already searched it. You do not need to go search APA PsycInfo again because you've already searched it using this broad database. So bear that in mind. So this contains CINAHL, Medline. Sorry, I said PubMed before, but no, Medline, APA PsycInfo, and the other bits that you see there. So remember to bear that in mind, right? So when you want to search, this is what it looks like. Now, this looks like, I mean, it's pretty easy to use. You just need to keep an open mind. So let's run through some of the basics. This is the main bit that you have to deal with. The best thing to always do when you want to run a search is to run an advanced search. That's the best, and that's what we're running. As you can see, this is an advanced search. Basic search would not get you far, especially if you're conducting a literature review. So an advanced search is the best option for you. So in this case, take for example that we already have our keywords, right? So we'll just play around with it just for demonstration purposes. Let's take for example that our topic is the impact of childhood obesity on families in the UK, or something in that regard, right? And then we generated our keywords out of it. So the first thing we want to pick, let's say the first keyword is childhood obesity, right? It would start bringing pop-ups just for you to see. You can see childhood obesity there already, right? So you've added that. Now, the next thing you want to do is decide whether you want to use and or in this case, or, to search the next keyword. Now, if it's a synonym or another word, that I don't want to use the word synonym loosely, because remember I said it's not just enough for you to use synonym just like that. It has to be quite relevant or based off of what has been done in other research before for you to determine what keywords to use. So if we're going to use another word that represents childhood obesity, right, we will have to change this to or. So childhood obesity, or, right? Say for example, overweight child. Let's say overweight children, right? Or just stay with me for a minute, okay? Obese children, right? So you can add more if you have more synonym like that. You can add more of it to just click on this plus button, and it will add more. What do we call it row now? It will add more fields to it, right? So you can input more synonyms or whatever it is you want to input. So we've got childhood obesity, we've got overweight children, you've got obese children, you've got, I think that pretty much covers it at the moment. So what we do now is to run that search. That's going to be our first search. So that's going to save as S1 right here. You can see S1. So it says childhood obesity, overweight children, obese children, right? And say for example, in this case, I want to tweak it a bit to say maybe there's a particular intervention that has been done for them. So let's say like dietary intervention and exercise. So let's just say dietary intervention. So that means I'm changing the keywords a bit. This is just for demonstration purpose, remember. So let's say diet, right? And then we put that, or dietary intervention, right? Or dietary habits, right? And then we search, because all of this means almost the same thing. So we search it as well. So that gives us S2. So what we're doing right now is to group each keywords together. So one keyword, which is childhood obesity, overweight children, obese children, makes one node, I would say, which is the S1. Then the other keyword now, which is the diet or the intervention that has been done, now becomes S2. So diet, dietary intervention, and dietary habits. You can see that they are synonyms. So that's S2. Then we run the other search again. So let's say, for example, we're looking at dietary intervention, the impact of dietary intervention on childhood obesity. I changed the topic a little bit, apologies. The impact of dietary intervention on childhood obesity in the UK. So in the UK now would be the third bit. So I picked out these keywords based off of research, remember. So let's say, for example, we have UK, United Kingdom. We search everything, United Kingdom, or don't forget, or UK, right? Or England, right? You can add more rows to it this way, or more columns, whichever one we're going to put in this case. Or say Britain, or what do we call it again? You can make it very specific, maybe Welsh, or Wales or Welsh, just let's pick Wales, or Northern Ireland. They're all part of the UK, so it's as specific as you want to make it. So let's say Northern Ireland. Let's leave it at that, and then we'll run the search as well. So now these are our keywords being grouped together, like the synonyms of our keyword formulate each search ID. Now our search ID is this S1, S2, S3. So let's assume that these are all the keywords we're going to use within the word. Now remember, the or and are all Boolean operators, right? That's what we've used. So what we now want to do is that for each search ID, we want to join them together by and what that means is that so literally in terms of searching, that means it looks for articles that has all of the three. That's where the and is. All means if one is present, you can choose that article. But in this case, we look at S1, S2, and S3 together, which means where you have an article talking about childhood obesity, talking about diet, and that is conducted in the UK. So what we're going to do is that we're going to select all, right? We select all right here, and then we say that it should search with and. So we click that search with and, so that will give us the articles that we're going to include. I know we still have a lot in this case. So in this case now, that's because, please bear in mind that this is for demonstration purpose and these keywords are not accurate. So, but it's just for you to be able to see how to run the search if you are the one conducting this. Now we've gone through our search, which is S1, S2, S3 put together, which we now have S4, which says S1 and S2 and S3. Can you see that? So that's how cool that is. And if you make any error, if there's any error with it and you want to correct any of these sections, right, you can easily come here and edit. So when you edit, this is where it brings out, this is the search term that you wrote earlier in terms of the synonyms. So if there's anyone you omitted, you have to manually type it in here. So you type it exactly as it has, diet, or, so you make sure that the Boolean operator is in capitals, and then you just press enter and it updates. So that's literally it. Now, when you have this, these are the articles that it has brought out. So you've conducted your search like this. Let's assume that it's our keywords. You've conducted your search and you've used the Boolean operator and this is your result here, which means it has gone down to 1,377. That's still a lot, but I mean, that's because I'm not using the right keywords. I literally made this up just for this purpose. So if we now click on this, which is to say, we click on the result, you can still use some delimiters to bring this down. Say, for example, so you have all of your 1,377 articles now. The first thing you want to do is to reduce the time period to, let's say, from, I mean, so you're saying to 1997. So we want to say to 2025, like from when is it, 10 years ago, 2015? So we'll say from 2015 to 2025, right? So we'll slim that down a bit, so we have it at 816 now. Still a lot. So what we can do now is to then make sure that we select the one that we have the full text available. Let's see how far we take it down again. So it's back down to 160 now. You see how we are bringing it down using all of these methods. So that's the reason why when you're writing, you need to mention all of these things in terms of your methodology. So what we've done is we've done the comprehensive search. After the comprehensive search, we then use like our years, the duration that we want to include, which is a decade, 2015 to 2025. It instantly reduced it, and then we included only articles that are full text, right? So you can go further to say you only want to include peer-reviewed articles. It depends on what you have said in your methodology. So if you are including only peer review, see now it's down to 146 now. What you might want to do again is to make sure you want to include just academic journals. So if I want to include just academic journals, I go ahead and click on academic journals only. So we still have 146, so everything is academic journals. And then you can now come to geography and see what location is it. So we're looking at United Kingdom alone, not an island, just United Kingdom. So United Kingdom alone, you now have 13 articles. This is very easy to go through. I mean, in some cases, you won't even have 1,000 or something. You might have like 100 articles. That's really cool. So you just use some of these filters to cone it down, which is what we have done. So the limiters now would help reduce the number of articles that you have to go through, because based on your inclusion and exclusion criteria, you've already said it. Maybe you want to have it for 10 years, you want to have it for the number of years you want to have it for, you want to have full text articles only. Just state your reason. That's the thing. Make sure to explain it all in your methodology. So now we are down to 13 articles, and I think that's brilliant and that's really good enough. And so let's take, for example, this is barriers and facilitators of school-based obesity prevention intervention, a qualitative study from the perspective. So you then go through each one. You can read the abstract, just go through it to see if it aligns with your research question, if it aligns with your inclusion and exclusion criteria. I mean, there are some that you still have to take out because they do not align, or the methodology they've used does not align with what you have said you would be using in your study. So literally, this is how you run it. So if you have any question, pop in the comment section and I will be glad to answer. And if there's any specific part of this that you want me to redo or you want me to help with, please pop in the comment section. And don't forget that I am available to coach you on this, to help you through. You just need to drop a message. You can leave an email and then I'll be happy to respond, or my assistant will be happy to respond to you as well. Any which way, we will get you sorted. All right, so this is everything for CINAHL. Remember, CINAHL has EBSCOhost, it has Medline, is everything put together, quite a number of databases put together, so you can always reduce or increase that. Yeah, still, that's it for this bit. The next database that we'll be looking at now is Scopus. What does that look like, and how do we run the search? Again, I mean, I don't use this much, but it's something I've used a couple of times. The same principle applies. You want to use advanced search. So you click on advanced document search right there. And then you have here giving you enter a query string, and then you search based off of the operators, the same operators. You have them on the side right there. So what you want to do in this case is enter your string. In this case, say childhood, since we're running an advanced search, childhood obesity, and this is the next one you want to use, or, so he puts the or for you. Overweight children, I'll just run through this quickly. Overweight children, overweight child, right? And you want to change it to so the next keyword now, the next set of keywords would now be and diet, remember? So and diet, or dietary intervention. I'll just pick two of it like that. Dietary intervention. So and the last bit, which is and UK or United Kingdom, right? You have that there, and then you search for your articles. So there you have it. Scopus will bring the options for you, which is, this is the search you've just run: childhood and obesity, or overweight and children. Hold on. Oh yeah, this is the part I keep forgetting. I'm glad we made this error so we can all see. So this is very incorrect. If you look at how this is running, this should be childhood obesity or overweight children, or, but because there's a key error that has happened, which I would now call our attention to, so we'll now edit this now so that we can see what has happened. Now, because this has space in between, it's going to automatically place or in between. So what we want to do is to put this in quotes. So now we understand why we're putting that in quote, overweight child. Then we'll see the difference now. And diet, put everything, each of the keywords, we can put them in quotes so that Scopus does not automatically put anything in between for us. This is what happens. So I'm glad that happened. So now we can see how we will correct it. So we then search again. So you see, do you see the difference? Oh no, it's not showing the difference. Okay, so I think this doesn't like one keyword, so we're going to edit again. Let's fix a weight. I don't think it's taken in this column, so we're going to use this quote instead of the single one. We're going to be using the double. So let's swap that. All right, people. Let's level up, level up, level up. So we change all of that. So we're doing this together. So I hope you're running your search as I'm running mine as well, because the more you do, the better you get at this. Okay, so almost there. Change the last bit. And then we search. Yep. So now we see the difference. So we're supposed to use a double quote around this. So now we have childhood obesity in quotations, or overweight children, and diet, or that. Do you understand? So it's picking each one now. So if you don't put the double quotation, or if you use the single quote, you're going to have Scopus puts a Boolean operator in between wherever there is a space. So Scopus does not like space. That's the main point I'm trying to drive at here. Then you have all of your articles, and then you can use the filters again, or what we call the limiters, to bring it down up until the year that we want. So we wanted for the last decade, right? So it's going to cone it down. So we keep going like that. You know how to use filters. So yeah, once you do that, and you have your articles. Then you can bring it all together and check for duplicate and do all of the necessary things, rather extract your themes and all of that, which we'll be covering in the literature review course that I mentioned. All right, guys. So lastly, PubMed. I mean, I don't always advise every time to run through PubMed, right? But sometimes you might just want to be sure, just to double check, right? You might want to run through PubMed. And the reason is because sometimes the articles in your PubMed are already in CINAHL and they're already in Scopus as well. So it's just like checking what you've checked already, but sometimes it's worth it. So I'll be showing a demo on how to also use PubMed as well. This is PubMed, and this is what PubMed looks like. And remember I said earlier when we were looking at CINAHL/EBSCOhost that we always do advanced search. So the same applies for PubMed. So you just have to click on this advanced here, which means this is how we're going to run our PubMed search, so that we would have an advanced view. We would have an advanced search rather. So the interface of this one is a little different from the CINAHL one, but the same methodology still applies, the same approach still applies. So what you have is all fields in this box, and that means you can cone it down based on what you're searching for. If there's an exact thing you're searching for, you can tell if it's a book, if it's a journal, if whatever. But in this case, we're searching everything, right? So what do we want to do? So we're going to search in bits, right? So first of all, we want to search, just like we did earlier, childhood obesity, right? So you then click if you want to add it with and. So these are the Boolean operators. So and, or not, which one you want to go with. So in this case, we'll choose or, childhood obesity, or what's the next we want to add? We want to add overweight children, overweight child, or overweight children, whichever one, right? And we're still using the or as our Boolean operator, right? Or obese children. Press enter. There you have it, childhood obesity or overweight children or obese children. That's what we have, right? And then the next bit we now want to do is what? We now want to add the and, which is the next bit, which is the diet. So let's say diet, right? So you add this one with and, right? And then change it to or again because you want to put or for the next bit. So and diet or dietary intervention, or what else can we call it? Or dietary habits. For dietary habits, right? That's how we have it. And it's in the United Kingdom, which is another set of words. So you change this to and again, and we start with United Kingdom. So let's say UK, United Kingdom. We just use 2 this time because UK or United Kingdom is what we're looking for now. And we accidentally pressed this, so we can come in here and correct that, okay? Or we just take it all out. Actually, we can take it all out, or we correct it in there. But I like to take it all out and just highlight this in United Kingdom. You can add all other keywords that you want to add in there. So there you have it. Childhood obesity or overweight children, which is what some of us write out sometimes, and we're just not sure how it was achieved. I think because you've seen it somewhere where someone wrote it like that, you're just not sure how, so you just write it like that as well. So the way the search box for PubMed presents is different from that of EBSCOhost. So you then run your search here by clicking search right there. And what does it do? It brings out all of the data, all of the articles, the papers that relates to that. Remember, you now have to use your filter, or what we call limiters, to now reduce and streamline the number of articles based off of your inclusion criteria and the research question that you have defined by going through all of this base. So this one, you can drag it all the way down to 2015 just to see the number of articles we've got. So we're looking for 2015 to 2025, the last decade, so we allow it to bring down. So it brought it down from millions to 521, and I think that's really good. You could also easily change it here to last 10 years, which we can do. So we only want free, we only want full text, not free. We only want full text. It doesn't necessarily have to be free. Your university can grant you access. So yeah, we'll take this out. So full text articles only, it has reduced it further. And in this case, you can now decide what type of study you want to include. Is it qualitative? Is it quantitative? Is it what type of study is it? So you filter for that based off of that, and then you'll be able to have quite a number of articles. Here we still have quite a lot, which is 500, and that's because we did not use all of the keywords actually. So we still have 511, 704. The main thing is to keep filtering until you're sure of the type of article that you're looking for. So in this case, say for example, we are looking for clinical trials to include. So we just come here, click on the ones that are clinical trial, we apply that, and then we wait for those articles to pop up, which is we now have 19,865 articles that are clinical trials. So you can filter that down further. The main thing is for you to keep filtering down until you have enough until you're sure that you've exhausted your inclusion and exclusion criteria, and you now have enough articles for you to now go through, easily, because it would be so difficult for you to go through 19,000 articles right now. I think that would be quite some stress. So yes, so this is exactly how you run. So I've shown you what EBSCO looks like. I've shown you what PubMed looks like. These are the ways you run your search. All right. If you've watched up until this point, now you know how to set your database and to use your keywords to get the articles that you'll be including in your literature review. So I have a surprise for you because you have kept up until this point. If you did not watch up until this point, you missed, because I didn't even say it in the beginning that I was going to tell you anything. So there will be a literature review course coming out. It is 100% free, but it will be the most detailed literature review course you have ever seen. And not just the most detailed, it will probably be the only course you need to watch for you to write your literature review and pass it excellently well. It would contain everything. I put a lot of energy into this, and that's because initially it was supposed to be a paid course, but Holy Spirit said no, make it free. So it is free. So we're going to make it 100% free. So be on the lookout. It's going to be a series. So it'll be coming out in series. But I specifically made this video so that you can see what it looks, because in the course I would only be mentioning, so you need to set your database. But now there is a video to reference to say, this is how you search those databases, right? So be on the lookout for that video. And if there's anything else that you want me to do, I know some of you have left comments to tell me what videos to make. I know there's still a pending video on Zotero. There's one on how to publish your papers. I've absolutely got you guys, but we've got to take this one step at a time. It's important that we take everyone along on this journey with us. So that's it for this particular video. Thank you so much for watching this far, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure you share with your friends, make sure you share with your colleagues, and until I see you again, make sure you put a smile on somebody's face. Bye.